One day this kid will get larger. One day this kid will come to know something that causes the sensation equivalent to the separation of the earth from its axis. One day this kid will reach a point where he senses a division that isn't mathematical. One day this kid will feel something stir in his heart and throat and mouth. One day this kid will find something in his mind and body and soul that makes him hungry. One day this kid will do something that causes men who wear the uniforms of priests and rabbis, men who inhabit certain stone buildings, to call for his death. One day politicians will enact legislation against this kid. One day families will give false information to their children, and each child will pass that information down generationally to their families, and that information will be designed to make existence intolerable for this kid. One day this kid will begin to experience all this activity in his environment, and that activity and information will compel him to commit suicide, or submit to danger in hopes of being murdered, or submit to silence and invisibility. Or one day this kid will talk. When he begins to talk, men who develop a fear of this kid will attempt to silence him with strangling, fists, prison, suffocation, rape, intimidation, drugging, ropes, guns, laws, menace, roving gangs, bottles, knives, religion, decapitation, and immolation by fire. Doctors will pronounce this kid curable, as if his brain were a virus. This kid will lose his constitutional rights against the government's invasion of his privacy. This kid will be faced with electroshock, drugs, and conditioning therapies in laboratories tended by psychologists and research scientists. He will be subject to loss of home, civil rights, jobs, and all conceivable freedoms. All this will begin to happen in 1 or 2 years, when he discovers he desires to place his naked body on the naked body of another boy.
Someday this girl will get larger and marry her high school sweetheart. She'll go to the doctor with strep throat, only to leave feeling much worse. Someday the physical ailments will subside, but a pain she's never known before will leave her feeling tainted. She knows the pain won't leave her, but she hopes if she scrubs hard enough, it just might. Someday people on the street will say, "She's got that nasty stuff." Someday people who are close to her will retract their touch. Someday a medical doctor and research scientist will make her feel dirty. Someday this girl will face rejection out of fear and ignorance from her mom, her best friend. Her words will make her dad cry. Someday this girl will break down and accept that in order to keep a beating heart, she must take a vitamin every day for the rest of her life. All of this will begin when this girl gets larger, marries her high school sweetheart, and he knowingly infects her with HIV. Someday this girl will be positive, not only in status, but also in life. Someday this girl will go public with her status, and when she talks, she'll be a voice for the voiceless and a face for the faceless. Someday this girl will call herself a doctor, and she will educate others saying, "It could happen to anybody. I was married. It's a human illness." And her mom will accept these words and embrace her. Her dad will hug her. Someday her vitamin will leave the virus undetectable, and her sister will say, "I don't care what people say, you don't have anything." Someday programs will make that vitamin more accessible, and this girl will be approachable to those seeking support. And in sharing her truth and mentoring others, this girl will develop the strength of a superwoman. All of this will begin when she proudly proclaims, "My life is better because I have HIV." I was fortunate to have certain opportunities that made my life and story easier, but all stories are different.